This is the house where Frances Hodgson Burnett lived just before she wrote The Secret Garden. This walled garden was her inspiration for the garden in her story, and I've now written Return to the Secret Garden, a sequel to the original. In this part of the story, Emmy and her friends are coming from London. They've been evacuated out to Yorkshire to Misselthwaite Manor, and this is the part of the book where they're just coming towards the house where they're going to live during the war. The car wound along a narrow tree-lined road, gradually climbing, until the tall hedges opened out into a vast field of brownish green. Emmy stared, and Tommy let out a squeak of surprise. It was like the park near the home, but 1,000 times over, a great endless space of low bushes, grey and brown and faintly purple. "What is it?" Tommy whispered. "I don't know," Emmy admitted. "A field? There's sheep over there." Tommy pressed his nose and his plump little hands against the window. "They're not fluffy." Emmy nodded. She'd never seen a real sheep, but there was a painting on the wall in the sitting room at the home, and the sheep in it were whiter and softer looking. "Perhaps they're goats then. I don't know, do I?" The colours deepened as the sun went down, and Emmy shivered. There was so much space, sky everywhere, no streets. Even when they went to the park, which was only once a week or so, there were still buildings all around. This openness was frightening. It felt wrong, and it went on, without an end that she could see. Where were they going? What sort of place would be in the middle of all this emptiness? Emmy gulped as they passed over a tiny stream rushing over rocks. Tommy laughed excitedly, pointing at the water, but Emmy flinched as the car bumped over the little humped bridge. "Not far now," the man called back through the glass panel that divided the front and back seats. "We're passing over the moor, and there's the drive up to the house. See the trees?" The dim golden light flickered and turned greenish as they rushed into a tunnel of great trees looming over the road. Emmy leaned forward to see out at the front. "Here, look, this is where you're staying." The car broke out of the tree-lined tunnel and pulled up in a stone courtyard at the front of a great grey house, shadowy and dim in the evening light. The children bundled out and stood huddled by the cars, even the smallest ones gazing silently at the house. "It's a palace," muttered Arthur, and for once Emmy didn't sneer at him. She thought maybe he was right. The grey stone walls surrounded the courtyard on 3 sides. The house wasn't very tall, and there were no turrets or towers, but it looked old. The great blocks of dark stone were softened at the edges, and the windows were small and patched into tiny squares. The low evening sun glittered in the little panes, shining out under spidery trails of creeper. The cars drew away, moving slowly off around one side, and leaving the children and the 3 women watching as a huge wooden door opened in front of them. The light was bright, and for a moment the figure in the doorway showed only black, and Tommy stepped back into Emmy, clutching at her coat. But then the woman hurried down the steps, smiling and holding out her hands. "You're here at last! Oh, you poor things, you must be exhausted. Welcome to Misselthwaite Manor."